Hey guys, I just wanted to say thank you for using my creator code whenever you purchase any Sims 4 DLC on the EA app or thesims.com. I receive a 5% commission each time you use my code, which means you're directly supporting me as a creator. I know there are a lot of codes floating around out there, so I am very grateful that you've chosen me to support in this way. Thank you so much. Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another apartment renovation. And today we're actually renovating Pinecrest Apartments 404 in Evergreen Harbor. And as you can see, we are already using the tool mod. So just fair warning, I do use the tool mod to get rid of and replace windows and doors in this unit. So I do know that if you were to download this from the gallery, either the windows and doors will carry over and they'll end up overlapping with what exists in this unit, or they won't carry over at all. I know this. I wish there was a better solution. If you do have the tool mod, I would recommend making these changes, but I also know if you're on console, that's impossible. So I'm aware that this apartment might be a little bit less accessible to all of you, so I will proactively apologize. I just really wanted to play around with some different layouts in this apartment, and it makes me so sad that that balcony is not owned space. Like, it is the most ridiculous thing to me that that balcony off of this unit is not considered owned by your Sims if they live in this apartment. It's so frustrating. So that was the main driver for me wanting to use the tool mod, because I wanted to change out that door. Look at how much sunlight actually pours into this room when you have a bigger door and a bigger window. Literally so much sunlight. It's beautiful. But as you can tell from the title of this video, we are renovating this apartment for a teacher and her son. So I was thinking that this Sim is a teacher. I think that she teaches maybe like later elementary school or early middle school. I was thinking elementary school because what I do in her room is I give her kind of like this string of cards and stuff that maybe kids in her class made her at some point. I'll get into that a little bit more when we actually get to her bedroom, but that was my thought. So I was thinking they had to be a bit younger. She doesn't teach high school or anything like that. Maybe like 5th grade. That would be kind of a nice grade, a nice age to think of too. So maybe she teaches 5th grade, and I think that her son is actually slowly approaching 5th grade. Maybe he's in 3rd or 4th, and he dreads the possibility that he will end up in his mom's class. He absolutely dreads it. He loves his mom so, so much, but I feel like at that age, if I had a parent that was a teacher, I would be inexplicably embarrassed that my parent was teaching at my school all the time, and that like maybe my friends had them as a teacher or something like that. It's this sense of embarrassment that you can't really articulate as a young child because you don't really know why. It's just embarrassing. So I'm thinking that he's like 3rd or 4th grade, and granted, on the back end, like on the admin end, would his mom potentially ensure that he didn't get assigned to her class? Would that probably cause like an ethical dilemma if he were? Yes. But he doesn't know that because he's just a kid, and he's dreading it so much. He's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be in my mom's class. Like, that'd be so embarrassing. Like, he probably already gets somewhat teased. It's not a nice thought, but I feel like his friends kind of poke fun at him because his mom's a teacher, but they're not doing it maliciously. They actually love his mom. They think that she's a super cool teacher. Maybe some of his friends, or maybe some of his friends, like older siblings, have had her as a teacher before, and they think she's like the absolute coolest. And he just doesn't fully understand it yet because he's still too young and because he's a kid, just all of that stuff. But I thought that was kind of a fun dynamic to think of for this single mom and her kiddo. I don't know where the other parent is. I don't know if they're in the picture or not, but these two are perfectly happy just having one another. And I think that the mom is I think she's very nurturing. I think if you're a really, really good teacher, maybe I'm speaking out of turn because I'm obviously not a teacher, but the good teachers that I've had have been very, very nurturing, very attentive, and honestly just very honest. Those are probably the 3 things that immediately pop into my head. And I feel like this is her, like the mom to a T. I think she absolutely loves kids, but she also knows that they are a significant challenge and that they face a lot of challenges, especially in this age group. She knows they're about to transition to go to middle school, which is a huge leap. And it's also that awkward middle ground before you head off to high school, right? And she also is realizing that her son is approaching that age. So I feel as though she's just gaining all this perspective. And maybe she's taught this grade for maybe her entire teaching career. That might not be super realistic. I know that some people might bounce around between the grades that they teach, maybe even the subjects that they teach. But I think that she has been teaching this age group for a long time. But now that her son is approaching this age group, she's just seeing things completely different. And it's had a significantly positive impact on her and how she kind of approaches things in the classroom with her kids and how she approaches things with her son, because she has a lot of perspective, of course, dealing with kids around this age in the classroom. So she feels like she has a leg up at home. But the challenges that she encounters in both spaces are just all around helping her be a better parent and helping her be a better teacher. It felt like a very wholesome approach to this family, if you will, this very tiny family. But I talked through the entire living room and the kitchen, which I love. I loved combining. I usually do this color scheme like orange and blue, but in this particular apartment, I did the very orangey wood tones. Like there's a lot of parenthood in this build. And then like this darker blue, and it's kind of a muted darker blue. I actually used this wood tone because we have objects from Horse Ranch in this wood tone in a build maybe a couple of weeks ago or something like that. I don't exactly remember when it was posted, but it was just kind of like a country family home. And I did a similar color scheme in just a different style. Maybe that's where it came from. I'm realizing, I'm like, why did I decide to do this? I think that's where it came from. But I really liked it. I thought I was going overboard. Like the orange curtains really defined it for me. But I really enjoyed kind of toning things back, I think, with the blue in the kitchen. Because originally I had the blue countertops and then I matched them with the orange cabinets. And that was getting a little bit too color drenched, if you will. So I liked getting just the blue appliances from the country kitchen kit with the matching orange wood tone counters and cabinets. And I also carried this color scheme into the bathroom, which I thought was really fun. And now we're already on mom's room. I genuinely talked through the entire first part of this video, but I was just so excited about the dynamic. And I'd thought about it so much that I wanted to make sure I articulated it because I felt like it really brought these Sims and this apartment to life. But this is going to be mom's room. It's kind of an awkward shape, but we do make it work. I did push the bed right up against the wall. So if mom ever has anybody staying with her, they'll just have to use the scoot function. It'll work perfectly. But I wanted to make sure that mom had a desk in her room, which was a tight fit. But since she is a teacher, she probably brings a lot of assignments home to grade. Sometimes she needs that quiet time to be able to focus on her lesson planning and stuff like that. And since her son's getting older, she feels a lot more comfortable like leaving him in the living room or in his room or whatever to just kind of hang out unsupervised, you know, at what, third, fourth grade, 8, 9 years old, something like that. So she's giving him a little bit more freedom, even in their home, in their space. And she needs that quiet time every now and then to just sit at her desk and focus on what she needs to focus on. And those were those cards that I mentioned earlier. I think this mom is really into gardening. Maybe she actually runs a gardening club, like an after-school club or something at her elementary school. And she really, really, really hopes that at some point she can get a house for her and her son so she can have her own little garden. Because maybe his interests, I think, vastly differ from his mom's. I mean, he's also a kid, right? He's not going to share all the same interests as an adult, but I feel as though he's shown an interest in nature and gardening because I actually gave him a pet frog. So the mom is hoping that she can kind of tap into that as he's going through this transition period of going from maybe like older elementary school student to middle school student and kind of keep that bond with him over something that they have shared. So she's kind of trying to tap into it a little bit, and she's really hoping that in the next couple of years, she can get them a house so they can do like gardening together, which I thought was a really sweet idea. I didn't put too much in his room to kind of represent that, but that's kind of what the frog was representing. I also wanted him to have a pet aside from the goldfish near the front door. So thought it was a nice idea. But I add this little board here, this calendar board from Discovery University. It's got a dresser, creativity table, a couple of toys and stuff like that. And what else did I put in his room? There wasn't too much room for a lot of activities, but I wanted it to feel fully decorated and really represent this particular Sim. I think he's kind of grumpy sometimes too. Like he's kind of a grumpy kid, mainly because of that embarrassment at school, but he's kind-hearted. You know, he loves his mom very much, but we're actually almost at the end of the build. I had a lot to say apparently. So I hope y'all enjoyed this one. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
used to think I'm the problem, that I was way too sensitive, reacting way too much. Until I realized we were different types, carrying a different triggers, scaring us to death. Oh, someday